After a lengthy career in the corporate world, Orion Burroughs is making his way into the music scene, and he is here for this week's Free Music Friday. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Let's start with this, because it's a big transition to go from corporate to music. How did you make the decision to move from your job in the corporate world to now being a musician?
Well, I think I always sort of had the itch, even from the time I was a child. I went to A&M Consolidated High School, graduated, we'll just call it back in the day.
Sure.
Graduated a little back in the day. And I even had the itch back then, and I guess I kind of thought, well, music, who's going to make a living out of that? So I gave up on that, went out in the corporate world, had about 13, 14-year foray into all that, and then actually got divorced, had an opportunity to come back and realign and see what I was doing with my life, and I thought, man, I'm just not doing anything that makes me happy. Go buy that guitar and see what it does for you. So I did, played for about 2 years. I was really fortunate. I had a couple of guys that are in some pretty big name bands. One of them actually just dropped his first national release single today, Jody Bartula. He wrote the song with Cody Johnson. He's Cody Johnson's fiddle player.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Nice little drop for him. But they took an interest in me as a person and gave me some constructive criticism. And so it was like, it's kind of like watching film as a football player. You know, you go every day, you go home, watch it, see what you can improve on, and work on it earnestly. And I did, and you know, dividends paid off after a little while. Now I have a career playing music. I'm lucky enough to make about 10% of what I used to make in the corporate world.
But I bet you have way more, about 100% more fun than
Absolutely,
you did.
absolutely.
All right, you're going to be playing at the LaSalle Courtyard tonight for First Friday, which we think you might be the first person to play at LaSalle Courtyard since they've renovated it and reopened it. For people that come out, what can they expect to hear?
I do play some cover music, and I play original music as well. So a lot of my covers are steeped in my background. I grew up listening to the 90s country, grew up, of course, here in Texas, and love a lot of the late 90s, early 2000s Texas country music. Seemed like whenever I was riding with Mom in the car, we'd listen to country music a lot, right? But occasionally when we rode with Dad, we'd get to listen to classic rock. So there's a little bit of classic rock influence in there as well. So kind of a little bit of everything where that's concerned.
Very cool. You're recording your debut EP right now. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, sir. Another thing, again, just been real fortunate, had a lot of people around me. I've recorded 2 songs with Jody Bartula, the guy I was talking about, and then the Powell Brothers, actually another band that's becoming pretty popular in this area. We wrote 3 tunes together with a guy named Jason Allen, and we're going in the studio this next week to finish those 3 up, and then should have all 5 of those together, and hopefully getting those released in December of this year.
Very good. The song you're going to play for us today is called Mambo. Can you tell us about how this song came to be?
So I always kind of wanted to write a song about my great-grandmother. Her name was Mambo, had a pretty big influence on our family, and I went to a songwriter retreat, was lucky enough to sit down with the Powell Brothers, and they had a melody that was working out really well, and so we wrote the song, and you know, really enjoyed the song. It's got kind of a, you know, sort of a steamy, dark, almost jazzy feel to it. And then I wrote the song, but after writing it and naming it Mambo, I thought, oh, that's a really good name. And so I looked up the name just to see, what does that really mean? Turns out Mambo means Queen of the Voodoo Witches, and so I got so many questions about the family now that I never had before I wrote that song.
You could spend all the rest of your life probably trying to get those answers.
That's right.
All right, where can we find your music?
So we're getting ready to record it and put it out on Spotify. Please look for us on Instagram and on Facebook. You can find us both of those places. Unfortunately, we recently had a little bit of a setback where our van was hit and run, and we're still trying to get that back. So we do need some shows, need some more shows, so please reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, either one of those spots. We'd love to come play for you, love to bring the whole band out for you.
And what's the handle?
It's Orion Burroughs and Orion Burroughs Music.
Perfect. All right, stick around. We'll hear from Orion Burroughs, where he'll play his song Mambo when we return.